face reality there, and we didn't offer enough value for the money.
I have two difficult questions for you about this. So
didn't deliver the right experience around it, and maybe not 100% representative where we are.
Gamers' first impression, gamers on console, like this isn't really the game that really fits with me. And
yes,
okay,
completely crazy.
So if it didn't go well, the really difficult thing is how do you actually bring people into your sim?
A huge challenge.
Okay, so Rennsport, you guys wanted me to come and see what's going on with Rennsport since the launch, what their plans are. So this is going to be a really interesting interview, I hope. So I'm here with the co-founder, co-CEO Marco, and I've spent the last few days actually observing Rennsport. I played a lot of Rennsport at launch. I was doing a lot of online racing. I haven't played so much recently, but it's been interesting to come back and be on the rigs and see the new content and understand what the company is kind of behind Rennsport, like the people there and also the vision. So I'll try not to talk too much, but I will ask you the questions that I know people want asking. In fact, I've got your questions here, so we'll get to those. But firstly, one thing that stood out for me in terms of a vision for you guys, and let me know if I'm wrong at any point, but it's half the price, double the content. So just talk to me what that means and why you decided to have that as like a flagship thing for 26.
Yeah, so you mentioned the headline already, so it's important for us to face reality there, and we didn't offer enough value for the money. So the first reaction on that is exactly about the headline. We reduced the price, we put more content in, that more people will join that. We are very convinced that our technical base is outstanding, but we didn't deliver the right experience around it, and we want to grow it. The full year, we presented you guys the roadmap we want to do for 2026, and I think this will help us to onboard people and to engage stronger with the community.
So that's a very, I think that'll be interesting to a lot of people, because I think a lot of people's perception of Rennsport is that the branding is very strong. Like your team is all here with the hoodies. It's very professional. You brought the Porsche 911 GT1 here because it's really professional. I think that gives an impression, and maybe also my perspective being from England, very Germanic, professional, big, corporate maybe. Yeah. And it's interesting to hear this, like I would say, like humility about we want to change things. However, if we pick into that a little bit, and then we'll get into some questions, I personally feel like the technical foundation of Rennsport is strong. Like I enjoy driving on Rennsport. I like the fact I can drive on PC against people on PlayStation and vice versa. I've come here and had a really good experience driving like a celebrity, whatever race. Yeah. However, that's not enough in this day and age, right, to just have a technical basis. So the really difficult thing is how do you actually bring people into your sim as opposed to all the other choice? So maybe you could talk a little bit more about that. So cars, tracks, but also maybe other things as well.
So thanks for the opportunity to explain a bit where we are coming and what brought us there, because it's important to understand. So obviously when we kicked that off, and it was exactly in that location where we are in May 2022, we did a sporting event based on an absolute prototype of Rennsport, because we wanted to see if we can engage with the people, if we can believe in developing a solid foundation on a tech base where we can do sport. We invited 100 of the best sim racers and influencers. We didn't tell any stories or didn't show any slides. We made a 2-day event racing on a prototype of Rennsport. And this went so well, and it was so overwhelming feedback that we decided, okay, then let's make a project out of that. And as the
so was that a proof of concept in a way?
Yes.
Okay.
Completely crazy.
So if it didn't go well, you'd be like, oh, we tried.
Most likely we wouldn't have the courage to do so. So, and the feedback and the desire to have a new player out there was so high that we say, okay, let's do that project. But if you kicked off in that way, you cannot stop. Even if we were technically not ready for that. It was a prototype. So for the last almost 4 years, we had to do two things in parallel. We had to keep the sporting running because racing itself is a competitive DNA, and we never wanted to lose that. But on another hand, we had to enable everything what we are doing to be ready to launch to the public. A huge effort for a team which didn't exist at that point really, and we had to grow a team. We had to set the technical foundation, and in parallel doing the sport, a huge challenge. And technically speaking, we just on the market for a few months. We launched in November 25. So why I'm telling all that? While doing all that in parallel, we had always the big focus setting the technically foundation to do something great when the foundation is right. And you mentioned it, and thanks for confirming that if you want to say so. The technical foundation is great, and now we need to make it a great experience and a great game. And we are confident with all the feedback we got over the weekend, with the roadmap we have, that we can make an experience out of that, because technically it's possible now.
So I have two difficult questions for you about this. So these are going to be difficult questions. The first one is, the event in 2022 went really well from a technical perspective and from an esports perspective. Do you feel in a way that that became really part of Rennsport DNA, and therefore when you launch in late 25 and the single player is not as developed as you want it to be and you launch on console, gamers' first impression, gamers on console, like, this isn't really the game that really fits with me? And does that come a little bit from the DNA that you started first as like an esports competitor? So it's not all, there's there's pros and negatives to that.
Yeah, no, also pretty simple to explain without any excuse. The single player mode was never on our agenda, because it was on the agenda to make an online multiplayer game. And an online multiplayer game obviously is not what you solely can offer on a console. Console is still very strong single player, and the console was much later on the agenda. We just saw the opportunity to do it now, to launch it together with a completely cross-platform experience. We just haven't had enough time for doing the single player properly. And it's not just what you do in the single player or in the championship, but it's also the AI drivers. We presented you a bit what we are doing at the moment. We are completely reworking with all the learnings. The AI, our lead Rickard demonstrated where we are there. So we wanted to take the opportunity, make the technology also ready for that. And now we need to make it great.
Okay, so we have lots of questions on that, and I think that'll be good for you because you'll be able to explain all the stuff that that's going to come, that people will be happy to hear about. But and just on that, personally, I have a very narrow perspective as doing YouTube, and I have a very singular perspective, not different perspective. But from my perspective, I'd be very happy if Rennsport came out as only an online racing game. But I understand that if you want to get consoles, all this kind of stuff. So my second difficult question here, if we get into these questions, is that it's a similar point, but like on the technical side, I think it's outstanding, right? Every time I played Rennsport, I have good racing, I can go side by side, the netcode's fantastic. I come here, there's a brand new track, a brand new car, and it all comes together and we all race and have a fantastic race. One of the best races I've had in recent memory, because it's very exciting. I jump out, I'm with Moritz Lerner, who's an insane driver, he's giving me tips. It's a sim that both I can drive and also Moritz can drive, and we can both have fun, which is very difficult to do. However, and this is I think really, I guess, what you want to grasp in like 26. I personally didn't know I was going to be on a live stream yesterday. If I'd known, that's fine. If I'd known, I would have made a post and said, "Hey, come and watch," right? Yeah. And then I watched the stream, and it says like T1, T2, T3, and for me, you cannot really follow this race.
Yes.
You can't. No, this is very brutal, because I think everyone has done a very good job, and technically, everything is fantastic, and all the hard work with the commentary and bringing it and the cameras, it's all really hard work, and it's done at the highest possible standard. But for the way I see the world in terms of trying to get people interested in stuff and get people talking about stuff, is this little bit of like cream on the top. And I wonder if like that's the bit with Rennsport. It's like, how do you really get people watching and exciting and playing, even though the technical foundations are very good? And that's it seems like you're looking for input and feedback, right? You want to hear like. Yeah, so okay, let's go into the questions then.
So maybe one point. Look a bit what we are streaming today about the racing. There, hopefully, you see a bit better overlays and information. Yeah. Simple reason, the race yesterday was on a staging build where the overlays do not work. This is in place for the normal builds. So we try to work hard also together with our partners from Rennsport, who are doing usually the brilliant streaming. So yesterday was maybe not 100% representative where we are, but happy to hear what you engage with, what you want to see. It's our strong point. We are a very small company. We are very flexible and can react on the feedback, hopefully reasonably fast.
I think that may seem like an unfair question. The basis for my question is that I feel like Rennsport, every good opportunity you can tell a story,
Yeah.
the more it can tell that story, the more people will watch it and be aware
100%,
and
yeah.
will build this sentiment.
Yeah.
So I feel like these are good opportunities. But like technically, it's been absolutely fantastic. So we're going to go to my post if my phone works. I can see I'm already ready to watch Rennsport here. So the first one here, Rennsport, when will career mode be launched? Or what's happening with single player career mode? Do you have a fixed date, or are you going to wait till it's ready? Or
So career mode is a bit of a tricky thing because when you are in the racing game genre, you have a certain expectation what a career mode is. You look at Formula One and so on, and this is very tricky. Let me explain a bit what we understand as a career mode. We showed you guys a bit how the competitive structure in Rennsport is. You can start with a single player, just doing some laps, get familiarized and so on. Then you can jump into championships, which give you the possibility to run several seasons after the rework.
This is like a pyramid structure where the bottom level here.
Yes, where the bottom level is, the grassroots level, or how you want to go in. So you have those championships. Those championships will get seasonal as well. This will include leaderboards and so on, so a normal championship structure. And this is kind of the core experience for yourself, because after doing the laps in the championships, you will race with AIs. We do the rework that they are doing proper racing then. This is something before you potentially want to race against other humans, but maybe you don't have the confidence yet.
Too intimidating.
So you go into time trial mode.
Yep.
You go in the leaderboard, you say, okay, this is my friend, I want to race against him, or somebody else which is close to my lap times. You click on it, you get the ghost car, so you get a first experience racing against somebody without doing.
But you're not going to be embarrassed if you crash.
Yes, no worries at all. So a very, very secure place for you to figure out what you like, what you want to do. Then we will introduce in a few months or weeks, I need to be careful what I'm saying, custom contests. You set up the servers, you can race online with your friends or whatever you whom allow. So also still secure. This is the baseline of our pyramid. This is our understanding how you can grow into that. And on top of that, we have the official contests. There you compete against the world. With the confidence you gave, or if you're already on that level, just jump in there. We will have some one-make series from several manufacturers in there as well. And then on the very top of the pyramid, this is what we see here happening now. You have the R1, the highest level of competition. Why I'm telling all that? This is our understanding for now what a career means. You can go in, you can start wherever you want, and you can make your path maybe to the top of the pyramid. And let me give you one example. We have two guys here with Nico and Max. They are from the community. They are one of the strongest drivers in our community. They compete today against the top drivers from the R1 teams. This is how we see a career at the moment. Not pre-scripted. You design your career. You can stay wherever you want. You can grow out of that, but we give you that path.
So there's some really interesting stuff there. I just have to ask about it straight away. The guys who've come through the community and race, I find it fascinating because we got teams like Porsche Motorsport here and BS and Mouse and like big esports teams, right? And they've got people on laptops, engineering. So how do you support these guys who are coming through the community? Like, do you have a in-house team that helps them a little bit? Or, I'm fascinated.
Yes and no. So the idea is really, you mentioned, those are the big teams. And those guys are so talented and so good that they are so fast on our service that they can compete on the top level. And as they are running under the Rennsport banner, I will try to support them a bit. I have an engineering or a motorsport background, so I can try to support a bit. But what we want to show is, even if you are not part of a team now, you can think of that and you get that spot. And I also can confirm that this is also the model for R1 for the future. We will have minimum 3 teams qualifying into R1 via the racing in our service.
Was that interesting to explain to the established esports teams that you're going to have to share this? You're going to have to share this space with kind of this grassroots layer.
Honestly speaking, they love it because they also want to have the connection into the service. We all benefit when it is on a solid foundation, and this is how it should be.
And they may also hire some of these drivers, or potentially, or
a talent pool is important, and especially if you have that career, how we defined it, how I tried to explain it, then hopefully we can motivate also young people to jump in there, try it out, get your confidence, and grow into the professional sport if you want to.
So I think that story is so compelling, right? The idea that these guys have come up, and it'll be very interesting for me to try and help tell that story. I rarely mention it, but I was in the Gran Turismo movie, and it's all about this idea. It's a big, like Hollywood-like idea. But when it comes to this career mode, it's like, to me, it seems like a bit of a meta career, right? Blending reality with like role playing in your mind. There will need to be some explaining there to people, because it's not a traditional what people would expect a career mode, which is single player. But to me, this is like a blended. It blends into the multiplayer, which has many advantages, but that's going to be interesting to explain, right? There might be some other names you need to use to call it or something, but are you aware that
very happy? Let's have a chat afterwards. Let's have a coffee and a chat. Very happy, but this is our idea a bit. Exactly. Thanks for that wording. A blended career mode or whatever. We are for a, let's say, classical pre-scripted kind of movie career mode. We are not enough people. We are a small company. We are in private hands 100%. So it's very tricky for us to cover all. We want to have the focus now, like you said, for 26 to deliver better value, with the input also from your end, we are very happy to explore further as well.
Okay, and speaking of input, let's do some quick fire questions then, because people are asking about VR a lot. 2 questions on VR. I think VR, I played Rennsport in VR. I think performance-wise, it's not in all of the online modes at the moment. 2 questions here. Firstly, just VR generally, is that an important thing for you? And also there's a question about PSVR 2 on PS5, which has completely different technical limitations. But where does VR sit with Rennsport in the future?
So we are committed to VR, but we want to do it proper. Like you said, in the beta phase, we had VR, but we were not happy with what we could develop into that for 2 reasons. First of all, it makes a lot of time and effort to do it properly, and also, to be honest, we want to offer VR when motion sickness is a bit under control, which means the quality also from the hardware makes maybe the next step.
Okay.
So we are observing that very carefully. We are looking into that. But I would not assume we will have VR in 2026.
Do you mean technology stuff like foveated rendering and things to help the hertz be higher?
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool.
Exactly.
Well, that's a big question.
Because that makes a huge difference, as you can imagine. We need high computing power because we are running on high visual settings as well. And if we cannot do that, then we think the experience is compromised, and we want to balance that in a proper way.
And this is a tough question, but I get it asked all the time, as you can see, which is about PSVR 2. I would not expect Rennsport to come to PSVR 2, because I would expect that to be such a huge technical task. But can you be somewhat definitive on it to people that don't know? Or?
I cannot, because I also would like to do that, but this is exactly the same than what I just said. We are observing carefully. We try to find the right timing for that, but I cannot confirm. But believe me, the immersion, and I tried Rennsport several times also on a motion simulator with VR, the immersion is fantastic in general, but for us, we need to be careful to implement it in a proper way.
Okay, so it sounds like you're aware of it, but you don't have like
100%.
a massive team that you can just
it.
tame. We've got questions on graphics on PlayStation. I know on PlayStation there's, for example, quite a lot of motion blur at the moment, and is that something that you have some people working on, just some optimization there, like the Pro version as well?
Yeah, 100% as well. Maybe even with the next update, you will see some improvements. We had to be fast with the console implementation there as well, and obviously, as we are not just on PlayStation, but also on Xbox, and Xbox S is our entry for the console. We had to optimize for that in a fast way. We spend more time on it now, and you will see improvements, pretty sure.
Okay, this is an interesting question. So it's quite a long one here about Rennsport settings for people on PlayStation using a controller. Where do people playing on a controller sit for you? Because obviously you come to console. a lot of people playing on controller, but your DNA is R1, and so do you value those people, or is it less important? Or
No, we value 100%. And if you you tried already on the controller,
not here, no.
it's driving very well on a controller as well. We can try later.
Okay.
No matter of PlayStation or PC. Yes, we value those people 100%. And we are even taking a lot of care finding the right settings for the controller. It's individual, of course, but it's fun to drive already.
Yeah.
So try it out.
Yeah.
We value that. We support that. And let me add one thing there. Of course, we value controller players, because what we want to do with our title is bring the fun of racing to everybody and also have everybody on the platform. This is why we took the opportunity for console as well. No, we are not hardcore sim racing just on PC. We want to support the passion of racing. And this is also why I explained that competitive pyramid. No matter what you define as your fun of racing, hopefully you find it with us.
Yeah.
No matter if it's single player, if it's just doing laps, if it's racing online, racing is what our passion is about, and this is what we want.
It's funny because that's quite a good, simple concept that you can always look at and say, are we delivering it on?
Yeah.
But it's also such a difficult concept to deliver, because it seems so simple, it's so broad, right? Because people have so many different churches of sim racing, where they come from. A simple question here, is that a 911 GT1?
100%, and
This is real.
even better, this is real, and this is the original Le Mans winner from 1998.
Yeah. When can we create our own lobby to play with friends? I think you answered that
Yes.
with the
Should be before summer.
Fanatec Full Force on PS5. I don't know if you're aware, with like Fanatec bringing their they've been making public statements saying we have this API for Full Force with different kind of force feedback, and we want developers to work with it. I guess there's some implementation needs to be done. Is that on the radar at all? Or?
Yeah, in general, we are talking to all hardware manufacturers what the best implementation is, and this is part of it, yes.
Just last one here then, triple screens. I'm not aware of the triple screen situation, but I know people who do triple screens won't play if there's no triple screen. So what's the...
Yeah, triple screen is a very difficult topic for us, to be honest. As you might be aware, we are on Unreal, and Unreal is not natively supporting triple screen. And if we want to natively support triple screen, we need to fork the engine.
Okay.
Which means there's no way back. Updates are limited, and for a small company, this is very hard to do because the overall service benefits a lot from the pros from the Unreal environment as well. We talked about the modding roadmap as well. So amazing content can come into that. So we need to stay in line with their updates.
There are other benefits to being within the...
What we are doing, you can try it out. It's not perfect, but with some settings you can run it on triple screen, but of course it's not a native triple screen. We are always looking into that, how we can find a workaround, but it's very challenging for us to do that at the moment and stay in the cadence for Unreal updates then.
Well, I think there's been some very clear answers there that people appreciate. I think my viewers are quite sophisticated. They'll understand that you have many hats and you have your team here, and I've spent time with your team from senior members to junior members, and it seems like there's good kind of like camaraderie and leadership, and they'll understand you have investors that you need to keep happy. They'll understand that...
That's a good point. No.
What?
We don't have investors to
keep
you
have private investors, right?
We are 100%
not
private, so we have no pressure on that side.
Okay, so there's a different dynamic maybe, but they want to see a successful game, right?
Yes.
So there's that. Maybe it's different to being on the public markets or whatnot. And also there's the sim racing community that, if we're honest, and we probably both know this, 2025 was a missed opportunity for a lot of sim racers who spent money and didn't get the experiences they thought for various reasons. And I think that means there's a massive opportunity in 2026, right? And I think some games are gonna grab that. So maybe if I just wrap up with some thoughts, and then you can let me know kind of how that sits with you. But my perspective of Rennsport, when I first saw Rennsport, I thought this must be some massive operation with hundreds of people, because it's very professional. They have all big esports teams and manufacturers and all licensed content, and this must be some huge thing. And it almost almost like a sense of arrogance with it, like this is going to be very good. And it seems like what's clear now is like Rennsport is a team of passionate people. It's not the biggest team,
No.
but it's passionate people, and you're looking for feedback and input on what to prioritize your time on. Because clearly you're very technically capable. You technically can execute a sim racing game. And it's a question of what do you decide, in my opinion, what do you decide to execute on? So maybe that's just you can let people know what they can do to feedback to your team and kind of how you see that going throughout 2026.
Yeah, so I really appreciate all the questions you sent in. This is already the path we want to follow. Let us know what you want to know, what you would appreciate. We have very, very fast decision-making process. It's at the end, you mentioned it, we are a small company. And 3 people can make a decision pretty quickly. But what we need to bear in mind is not just obviously what we want to do, but also what we at the end can sell. And therefore your input is the most important, because when you like something, I think you will buy it. And this is where we listen carefully. And now we are also in a situation, hopefully, to deliver in a reasonable time frame what you are asking for, because the technical foundation is there. We are solid. Small team is limiting, obviously, the output over time. But give us feedback. Let us know what you would appreciate. And we will try to give an answer. And maybe we do a follow-up every 6 months.
Yeah,
you give me the questions, and then you judge me and the team what we delivered from what we promised.
But I think the main people will take away half the price, double the content.
Exactly. This is the easiest to explain, and hopefully they also take away. Technically, it looks very good, and we are very engaged and committed people. Not a big corporate or whatever. No, it's about the passion, and this is how the company started, out of passion for what we are doing.
Great. Let's see what happens in 26. Thanks, Marco.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers.